What's up guys, it's Crash with another Battlefield 6 weekly video, and I don't want to waste a bunch of time. I'm excited to talk about this. I want to get right into it, but a couple things real quick. This is going to be a weekly video series. That's why it's called Battlefield Weekly, and we're going to talk about Battlefield 6 every week leading up to the game. I'm not going to make up leaks to get clicks or anything like that. We're just going to talk about what we want to see in the game, basically get hyped together. That being said, since it is a discussion, feel free to comment below and tell me what you're looking forward to. I've got some comments on my previous Battlefield videos, and I love chatting with you guys. I want this to be a place of discussion. We can get excited together and come up with some awesome ideas for the game and kind of, what we hope to see. That content's going to be pushing all the way up through the reveal and even into the game. We're going to do guide content later, but I just wanted to give a quick breakdown of what's going to be happening with this channel. So look for Battlefield 6 videos every week. Big surprise, I stream actual live first-person shooter PC gameplay. So I know that's like a big deal. There's not very many people streaming video games right now, so I'm kind of an innovator. I'm just kidding. Anyways, I'm live most nights around 9 o'clock Central Time. So if you guys want to come hang out and talk about some Battlefield 6 live, I would be glad to have you. We have a great time. So let's get that junk out of the way and talk about what you guys came here for. And that is what kind of game modes, what's the gameplay going to look like in Battlefield 6? And we're going to look at a little bit of what Andrew Wilson said in the EA earnings call last week. So in that call, Andrew Wilson, the CEO of EA, he was asked by an investor about basically paraphrasing here, has he seen free-to-play games and other game modes having so much success in the landscape, and are they thinking of implementing something like that in Battlefield? To me, that screams battle royale, but we're going to look at some other possibilities, because here's what Andrew Wilson said. He said this is going to usher in a new generation for Battlefield games and Battlefield fans. And this is the thing he said, and you should imagine that we're looking across all forms of the experience to ensure that this is exactly the game Battlefield fans want to play, and the game that we believe will drive growth in the Battlefield franchise. And I think that's really big. That means that they're going to branch out and possibly do other game modes that are popular right now. And I think that could get people hooked on that core conquest, breakthrough, massive scale battles that we love. The more people that are interested in this game and play other modes can find their way into those classic modes that true Battlefield fans all love. So that's what gets me excited. So what we're going to do today is we're going to take a look at some ideas and possibilities of game modes they can try based on the current landscape of FPS shooters. All right, so basically what I'm saying here is we need to remember that while we love old Battlefields, the large epic vehicle battles, everything, those only in Battlefield moments, we love those. We have to realize that the new game needs to build around those core elements and branch out to keep modern players engaged. People right now don't have a big attention span, and for games to get updated, to us to have new maps and content keep coming, it has to be economically feasible for the company. So we have to realize that we need more players to keep our game healthy. It needs to innovate, but keep the Battlefield identity. So we're gonna start small. We're going to look at some small modes, and then we're going to look at maybe some ideas for some large scale battles. So what I've noticed in the first person shooter landscape is a lot of the more hardcore shooters are sticking around longer. The games that can provide those intense moments at like the end of a round or at the end of a battle royale or something like that. It seems games like Insurgency Sandstorm, Rainbow Six Siege grew for a lot of years. Escape from Tarkov is really big right now. Hell Let Loose did great for an indie game. A lot of these games have a hardcore tactical element to them and intense moments that aren't that respawn shoot die loop over and over again. So I think they might try to do something like that, and that kind of gets me excited. So Call of Duty in Modern Warfare 2019, they actually went big. They're usually known for 6v6 multiplayer arcade shooter type battles. They actually went big and did Ground War, which was kind of almost a shot at Battlefield. It was 32 versus 32. It was pretty much Conquest on the Call of Duty engine. So I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility for DICE to go small. Since everything is large already, you have big maps, you have large areas. It shouldn't take a lot to just cut out small competitive areas of those and make some competitive type game modes that could bring in people who are like fans of like Search and Destroy, who are fans of Rainbow Six Siege, Rogue Company, like demolition mode, and bring some of those fans over and realize that the Battlefield gunplay really has something to offer. It's really good movement. The game is beautiful, and they might say, hey, let's try some of these big game modes just to chill on, because I love a competitive game mode. I played a lot of Rainbow Six Siege and it's a lot of fun, but it can get tiresome always sweating and competing. And if you can come to a one-stop shop game that has small competitive modes, you can sweat it out with your friends, but then, hey man, it's time to chill. I've been sweating it out and grinding. I just want to run around on a big battlefield and get some crazy snipes or try to blow up a tank with a lunge mine or something like that. Then you don't have to go to another game. Just click another tab. Let's go play Conquest, find a new server. Here we are. So what I would really like to see is a round base bomb mode with a diffuse similar to Rainbow Six Siege or the Search and Destroy in Call of Duty, because those game modes are really fun. It's not that respawn shoot die loop over and over again. When your life has some worth to it, it can really come up with some epic moments and some really intense moments, and it can be a lot of fun working together with your friends. And I'm not saying there necessarily needs to be an esport, because we all know how that went when they tried it with Battlefield 5 Incursions. It died before it even got here, pretty much. But I think some small modes like that with the bomb defuse type game mode like CSGO could be really fun and lead to some intense moments. And it would be really nice to have a game mode like that that's not as complex as, say, like a Rainbow Six Siege. Like, you can still get those 1v1s and 1v2 clutches at the end of a round, but not have to worry about, does this operator counter this operator, or who's got this kind of ability and what's it going to do to this ability, and can I make a little tiny peek hole in a wall? It just can make that game mode and those intense moments a lot more accessible. So I would honestly really like a 4v4 or a 5v5 bomb defuse mode. All right, now let's talk about the good stuff, the big epic battles that we're all excited about. It's been pretty much confirmed that there's going to be 128 servers. In that EA earnings call last week, Andrew Wilson confirmed that game modes are going to have more players than ever before. So it would just make sense that instead of a 64 person server, they would just make it a 128 person server. That's what everybody's kind of staying and thinking. So we're going to go with that for now. We're going to assume that's going to be true. Those battles are going to be awesome and epic and huge, but I think there's a few things that should be concerning. One of those is the more players you have on the battlefield at one time in an objective based game mode can bring a lot of frustration, because it's very difficult to get people coordinated and attacking the same objective at the same time or working together as a team. The more and more people you get on a team, especially in a casual game, the harder that is. So I'm kind of hoping that in those large game modes, there's some kind of way for squads to communicate with each other. I don't know if any of you have ever played the PC game Squad, but it has, every squad leader has a squad comm chat link, so they can hit a key, push to talk, and talk to the other squad leaders and say, hey, my squad's gonna go attack B. I would really like you guys to hold A. What are you guys thinking? They can talk, and then the guy can relay, the squad leader can relay that down to his squad mates, and they can coordinate. I really hope Battlefield 6 has something like that. It would be really cool if squads can coordinate in some way. I worry, because we've all had those Conquest games where you got your guys sitting in the spawn sniping that aren't doing anything, camping in a tank up on the hill, getting his 6 kills in a round, and then you start doing a circle. So like this, someone will take B. As soon as that's taken, they'll go to C. Well, then the enemy will come around and start taking A, and then you just got this big circle of like a donut of capping and losing points over and over and over again. And we've seen that. I just hope that doesn't worsen by making large player maps and matches, because I just think it's hard to coordinate a lot of people. So hopefully there's a way for squad leaders to talk to each other and maybe get some of those pushes and holds, get those coordinated. So how do we avoid that mundane respawn die game loop? One of the things I thought of is looking at a game in Insurgency Sandstorm. They have a few game modes. One of them is called Push, to where when you spawn in and you have to take an objective, when you die, you can't respawn until there's another wave, and it's on a timer. So if you die, you can have to wait almost up to 5 minutes. till you respawn again, giving your life some purpose and some meaning, and making you think a little bit more tactical about when you want to push and how you want to push. And I think that would be really cool. And you could even tweak it to promote squad play in Battlefield 6. You could say, once your squad is wiped, you have to wait until there is a respawn wave, and the teams, instead of tickets, could have respawn waves. That would promote squad play. You stick together, you can revive squad mates, have a medic, keep alive. That could be, you know, we're pushing into this objective, but we also need to think, you know, if we all die, we're gonna have to completely start over. So we need to keep our fellow squad mates alive. We need to push together, work together. And I think it's a good balance between a casual game mode, but also giving your life a little bit of value and making you think tactically and from a teamwork objective standpoint. I think that would be really cool and a cool change to have in a game mode. And finally, in these big game modes, it's going to open a giant toolbox of possibilities for narrative driven game modes like Operations. I'm kind of excited to see what they do with Operations. There can be exciting large battles that are narrative driven with, you know, a team has to take control of a city. There's like a siege of a large city. The enemy team has to escort artillery and convoys close to the city to set up their infrastructure and maybe set up new spawn points closer to the city. They have to build these structures, taking from the fortifications mechanic from Battlefield 5. And the defending team tries to, you know, send teams out to stop them from doing that, and then they can get pushed back, you know, into the city walls and have to keep the enemy team from infiltrating. That would be a really fun Operations mode. You could add to the map diversity of that. It doesn't necessarily have to be a city. You could have a desert map or a more open natural map, even in the woods or near rivers or something, where an enemy team has to take control of maybe food resources or weapon caches. There's just a ton that they can do with these large battles that would really make some immersive narrative driven battles that gives you, instead of just spawning to re-die and shoot and coming back in just to get points, if you had a purpose, that can make games really fun, and it can get the player invested in trying to perform these objectives while they're playing. So I'm excited for the narrative possibilities of these large battles. Also, I think naval battles would be really cool with story-driven modes where, you know, maybe the Navy is attacking a port and they have to fight off enemy ships, fighter jets to try to get close, and then have some landing crafts plop down on that beach and have infantry try to storm the port and take over the shipping docks. Something like that where, I mean, Battlefield 5, really, we didn't get Normandy. Like, we didn't get some of those epic storming of the beach in Normandy moments, like Battle of the Bulge, you know, the tanks are coming and they start to run out of gas, stuff like that. Like, we didn't have any of that. So they have an opportunity here to make up for some lost ground, and I would love to see some really cool narrative driven battles. I mean having landing craft or submarines come up and dock on a beach, and then you have to storm in and try to take that with possibly, you know, some of the different respawn mechanics. It could really make for some intense large battles that get away from the normal thing we're doing with respawn modes and keeping it from getting too repetitive. Those are the main points that I wanted to talk about today and just get the discussion started. Discussion means you guys also talk to me, so start some comments down below. I answer all of them, and I look forward to talking to you about what Battlefield 6 is going to bring to us.